Hi, welcome to Man-Made Music New York. Want a little tour?
As the drum marches towards its next chapter, we enlisted the help of Man-Made Music, a strategic music and sound studio, to create a distinct sonic identity.
The first thing we do with any client or any project is we'll have a conversation about what the brand means.
Looking at the brand documents, thinking about the language you guys use to describe yourself, the words of Reverend Challenger just kept coming back to us. So, okay, so there's a lens for me to start thinking about what type of music that's maybe driven by drums, driven by percussion, but it speaks about being a challenger, speaks about being slightly irreverent. There's a little bit of confidence to it, but there's also a little bit of playfulness.
The second part of this really is to do an audit and look in the competitive space as to what do other brands in this space sound like, so we understand what the creative white space is.
The drum wants to be global. They don't want to be regional. So that's huge in terms of what I start looking for. You have a bit more of a playful, witty tone than serious. That's huge too. Suddenly I've got this area that you guys fit into, and I start pulling through music.
The third part of the process is this sonic mood board session, which is honestly everybody's favorite meeting of the week, because it's just really fun to talk about how music and sound makes you feel and sort of compare that against the brand.
I love the little pitter patter. That's a really nice different element. And I'm like,
It keeps the energy going without
yes,
being
exactly.
chest beating.
Yeah, it's a very fresh, modern, like we are up tempo.
When I start looking at music for inspiration, I like to put them into big groups so I can just swing wildly. So music that's driven by drums and percussion, so like 80% drums, 80% percussion. Then maybe I say, let me look for music that's just like a drummer and a bass player. Then I look for bands that have maybe an improvisational party kind of vibe to them, pulling a ton of references into there, a ton of inspiration. So I like to do that, cast a wide net after I've identified the vibe, and then narrow it down.
The next part of the process is really creating the music and sound. Once we sort of glean all that information from the sonic mood board session, we bake it into a creative brief for music and sound. And then from that platform, we're into creating music and sound.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I did.
So on one hand, I've got modern electronic sounds. And on the other hand, then I'm going to have somebody bring in instruments that are from really old traditions that we can play in modern ways. So I've got a yin and yang, I think, going on today.
The next thing we do is we decide which of those pieces we want to develop and move forward. And then based on the feedback and the discussions, maybe we'll pick 3, and then we'll go through and sort of refine those and sort of develop them further. So then we carve things down to the short versions like the sonic logos. Then once we get to the final version, we're looking at really creating style guides and strategies about how we're going to propagate music and sound throughout the brand.
Man-Made Music has helped give the drum and its audience an optimistic, future-leaning sound.